Sexual situations and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. You know it's true. It does not matter who the host is. Yeah, you know it. I know it. We both know it. We both love it. All that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out on this lovely Wednesday. Yes, the May 18th. Yes, May 18th, day 138th of the year, and only 227 days left to go. So how were things? How were things going on in the last 24 hours? Did everything go the way that you expected, or have things changed in ways that you were not expecting them to whatsoever? I mean, I never know. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place we do stuff with.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes. Radio Big. We're getting to hang and bang with our friends over there. So don't worry about all that fun stuff. So let's start talking right away about the things that were trending inside of this lovely world of ours, because we need to talk about it. We need to do it. We need to cover everything that was going on inside of there. So with that being said, let's move in right away and start talking about that. Anyways, hashtag election day was trending after several states held primaries elections yesterday. Also, Twitter users were tweeting about the UFOs Tuesday following the release of the U.S. intelligence reports of unidentified flying objects. Once again, hashtag Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard was trending as the defamation trial continued. We'll talk a little bit more about that if you care. Hashtag worst cars landed in Twitter's top 10 yesterday, included the 1978 Monte Carlo, the 1960 Aircraft Air, the 64 Nash Rambler, and hand-me-down Geostorm, a 1980 Volvo 242, and the Pontiac Grand Am, not to be confused with a Grand Dam, because that could be easily done. And then hashtag stupid survey questions was trending yesterday. Do we really think we value your opinion? Do you enjoy being placed on hold for 20 minutes? Have you ever been through the desert on a horse with no name? And if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? And if you were part of a simulation, would this be questions that you would be asked? So just kind of some fun stuff that did come about as those things were going around and about and all that fun stuff. So it is Wednesday, so you already know that we're going to start talking about some weirdness. Not that we wouldn't be talking about weirdness if it was any other day of the week, just in case about that. But it is Wednesday, we will talk about the fiction and nonfiction categories about what is going on in the New York Times bestsellers list. So here we go. Let's take it from the very top. According to the fiction category, the number 5 position was Verity. At number 4, Where the Crawdads Sing. At number 3, It Ends With Us. At number 2, 22 Seconds. Hey now. And in the number 1 book, according to the fiction category, according to the New York Times bestsellers list, is Book Lovers. Well, there you go. So now taking it on to the other side of the equation, because we need to do that as well. So going it from the other side of the nonfiction category, at number 5, Out of the Corner. At number 4, A Palace Paper. At number 3, This Will Not Pass. At number 2, Finding Me. And at the number 1 spot, according to the New York Times bestsellers list for the nonfiction category, well, it's Killing the Killers. So there you go. Killing the Killers What a name. So, a lot of stuff going on inside of there as you are taking a listen, a gander, however you want to dream about this. Anyway, so if you want to interact with the show, the easiest way to do so is by going to callinradio.com. That is the easiest. That is the easiest way to do this. Once that is set up and done, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com, do some messaging, do some voicemails, do some video mails, whatever your heart desires on doing so. And we'll get that all set up and moving and grooving and everything along those lines. So don't worry about that. So if you're kind of wondering what the hell we're going to do today, well, it's not going to be that hard to figure out because we'll talk about it. The way that it kind of goes, it goes into this fashion. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They tell us what is going on inside of the world of the news. After they're done giving us their little spiel on what is happening, we come back and tie everything together on what was said, what was not said, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then, we jump back and forth. We talk about some nonsense. We talk about some bullshit. The fun stuff that you want to do on morning radio as we would do that. So if you are taking a listen today, it kind of goes this format. We are a radio station first, podcast network second, and then we kind of fall into some kind of streaming platform or video. Video radio, which I also call TV, however you want to take a look at that. So video radio. Yeah, video radio. I mean, who the freak came up with that name? So that's how it goes. So we'll do that. We'll linger. We'll talk. We'll move. We'll groove. We'll do everything that we can in regards of getting everything moving and grooving to make sure that you are happy. And you kind of dictate how the show goes. It's the easiest passion, or it's the easiest portion of the whole thing. You don't like where something's going, you put it inside of the actual call-in radio aspect. We move, we go, we change, we move forward. And it's kind of it's a mesmerizing thing on how to do that because you control how everything goes. Boy, isn't technology great? The interaction itself is where the value is at. So there you go. With that being said, let's go ahead and move forward right now with what's going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Scott Carr. Primaries held Tuesday saw the defeat of a Republican North Carolina Congressman, Madison Cawthorn, who enjoyed the backing of former President Donald Trump, and a too-close-to-call GOP race in Pennsylvania between TV personality Mehmet Oz and businessman David McCormick. Cawthorn's campaign was also troubled by scandal. He conceded last night to State Senator Chuck Edwards. The House will vote today on a bill to help ease the baby formula shortage that would give emergency authority to the WIC program, meaning those who rely on WIC vouchers for food assistance could use them on any brand of formula and not be restricted. The shortage started when the pandemic disrupted a supply chain, which became worse with a recall earlier this year. The Country Music Hall of Fame's got a new list of members. Lisa Taylor's got that.
Jerry Lee Lewis will be inducted into the Country Music Association's Hall of Fame. The association announced new additions, which also included music industry executive Joe Galante, who's noted for his role in developing the careers of Waylon Jennings, Dolly Parton, Alabama, Vince Gill, and Miranda Lambert, to name a few. When you say nothing at all. Keith Whitley will be posthumously inducted into the Modern Era Artist category of the Hall of Fame. Legendary performers Brooks and Dunn announced the new Hall of Fame members during a live stream from the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. I'm Lisa Taylor.
Finland and Sweden are applying to join NATO, though the president of Turkey has doubts. Membership requires a unanimous vote from all nations. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will meet with his Turkish counterpart today to talk about the issue. The NBA is joining the fight to bring Brittany Griner back from Russia. Commissioner Adam Silver says he's working with the WNBA commissioner to get the Phoenix Mercury player out of a Russian prison. Griner was arrested in February after airport security allegedly found vape cartridges with cannabis-derived oil in her luggage. Scott Carr, NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Riga, Latvia, I'm Chris Jones. Almost 1,000 Ukrainian troops have left the Azovstal steel plant over the past 2 days. Finland and Sweden have now officially applied for membership of the NATO military alliance. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has been criticised by his political opponents over his government's response to Ukraine, and the UK's inflation rate has hit its highest point in 40 years.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
The cost of home building materials continues to skyrocket. The host of Ask the Contractors podcast, Todd Bird, says new construction in the Sacramento region, anyway, is getting hit very hard.
Because you're buying a massive amount of materials, roofing materials, siding, windows, flooring, sheetrock. Those type of things are really, really up in value.
He says if you want to build a home or get something remodeled, he advises don't wait, do it now.
I think things are going to go up, and even if inflation and labor price pull back a little bit, people are going to get used to those prices, and I think they're going to be here for a while.
Since the start of the pandemic, he says the prices of goods used to make homes have increased by more than 36%. A new federal report says the production of firearms in the U.S. is skyrocketing.
The findings from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, released on Tuesday, show the annual number of firearms manufactured has tripled since 2000. This marks the first federal report of its kind released in the last 2 decades. Part of the increase is being put on the sale of handguns, which began outselling rifles in 2009. The report comes just days after 10 people were killed in a mass shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Last night, those attending this year's Cannes Film Festival in the south of France were treated to a surprise appearance by a world leader. As Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told the opening night crowd his country will continue fighting because they have no choice but to fight for their freedom. Speaking on video, Zelensky said he was sure the dictator would lose, a reference to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and that the cinema industry, he said, has a responsibility to promote democracy and freedom. 7-time Super Bowl champ and Tampa Bay Buccaneer Tom Brady will be the first victim in a planned series of Netflix specials called The Greatest Roasts of All Time. Brady will also serve as an executive producer on his special as well as future roasts. Production on the show is set to start next year following the NFL season. Scott Carr, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
I really thought you were listening to a whole bunch of ads, if you really asked me, and I didn't realize you were listening to the show. Anyway, so there you go. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Wednesday. So that's what's going on right now. Let's take a look-see on what's going on around there, because there are tons of stuff to talk about. There are tons of things to do today. There are tons of things that we can go out there and discuss. So let's start off right now. Elon Musk is doubling down in his efforts to force Twitter to prove less than 5% of its user accounts are bots and spammers. In a lengthy Twitter thread, Twitter CEO Parag, whatever his name is, explained that the company's process for identifying such accounts and said that they shut down 500,000 such accounts every day. Every day? Wow. So hold on. How many users do you have on your system? Because now I'm really concerned.
Duh.
So I mean, that's kind of mind-boggling. By the way, in response to the thread, Musk replied that it's simply with a poop emoji. Musk remains unconvinced that he says that the valuation he offered was based on Twitter's less than 5% estimate, which is they are also reported in the official SEC documents. The situation puts Twitter in an interesting situation. The situation puts Twitter in an interesting situation. What a world of words there. If they show that they have data that more than 5% of their accounts are bots, that also means they have committed fraud in the official government reporting. Musk remains interested in the purchase, but only at the price that he offered if Twitter can prove how many users are actually real humans. I guess nobody's real, but they're willing to let you know. Yeah. Quoting Power Man 5000 there. If you're not familiar with that song, you probably should take a listen to it, because it's quite great. Here's the fun part. If we took the video aspect out of this thing right now, I could play the song immediately into it, but we can't do that because on how we are restricted by visual radio and the platforms that it goes across. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny on how that works? Oh, man. Anyways, let's continue going through the whole thing. A Wisconsin man and his dog have been reunited after 5 years. Ginger the dog, I hope it's not the man, disappeared from the owner's home back in 2017 without a trace. But at the start of May, the city of Beloit police department stumbled on the pooch and posted a picture on their Facebook page in hopes of finding the owner. By luck, the post reached the owner, who has been able to pick her up and at the local Humane Society. So, is there a story on where the hell the dog was for the last 5 years? Maybe that's something. I mean, I don't think the dog's going to tell you. I mean, I wouldn't be. I would not hope that anybody thought that that's what I meant when I said that. So yes, nobody's going to ask the dog. I mean, let's just be realistic here. That's kind of a stupid thought. Just think.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so take a listen to this one. A Texas mother has racked up quite the DoorDash bill after her toddler son got a hold of her phone and ordered 31 cheeseburgers from McDonald's. She only found out about the order when the driver pulled up with a few bags. The order, which included a generous $16 tip, ultimately set her back nearly $100. The kids only ate half of one. Well, I mean, what about this whole thing? I thought if you actually would freeze some of those things, they still are good. You know, if you seal it and then you vacuum, you kind of vacuum seal the whole thing. I thought they were good to go for a long period of time, or is that just an infomercial that has really just gotten to me a little bit more than what I expected? Anyways, Guinness World Book of Records has announced that the current oldest living person is Juan Vicente Mora, 112, with a birthday just around the corner on May the 27th. He lives in Venezuela. So there you go. If you're looking for the oldest person on the planet, I guess there you go. You got something. Anyways, before I give you my spiel on what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market, I think we should bring in the pro, the ultimate dresser, the ultimate guy in regards of doing this. Let's bring in John Smalls and let him tell you about the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, May 18th, 2022. Equities rebounded for a fourth day as investors scoop up newly found bargains. The move may gain momentum now that retail sales data and earnings from the major retailers are in, but investors should be cautious in the near term. While bullish, the action of late is driven in large part by short selling and short covering, so should not be viewed as true buying. The S&P 500 may continue to move upward in the near term, but there is a chance for resistance at the 4,100 to 4,200 range. If resistance is present at that range, the index could fall back to the newly set low and possibly lower. The next big hurdle for the week will come Friday in the form of the Pce Price Index. It's the Fed's favorite tool for measuring consumer-level inflation and has been running very hot over the past year. Another month of record-level inflation with no sign of it relenting could seal the fate of the Fed's ability to provide a soft landing in regard to the economy. With inflation running rampant, the FOMC may have no choice but to intentionally induce a recession. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, well, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for the information. Probably that ender there was not exactly what people want to hear, but hey, let's just be in tune with reality on what's going on. So the Dow picked up about 431 points on Tuesday. Both West Texas Intermediate and Brent crude remain over $110 a barrel. According to AAA, the national gas average is at about $4.52. I'm sure I'll have some conflicting information here in just a moment, so don't worry about that. And Bloomberg reports that the average gallon of gas is now more than $4 in every state. Kansas, Oklahoma, and Georgia were the states managing to keep their prices under that mark. And now that has all changed. So there you go. I don't know. I mean, it is becoming a total cluster as we are talking and looking at this whole thing.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so I tell you gas prices at $4.52. We heard $4.52. I am looking at what is coming in from the pipe. Let's talk about this. Gas prices have jumped 4 cents since the overnight. Let's bring in to Mark Mayfield.
The record high for regular in the U.S. is now up to $4.56 a gallon. The highest prices are out west, where the statewide averages in Alaska, Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, and Nevada are all over $5 a gallon. California is now up to $6.05 a gallon. The least expensive gas is in Kansas, where the statewide average is $4.02 a gallon. I'm Mark Mayfield.
No, I don't think it's a good idea to try to drive to Kansas to go get gas, just in case if you were wondering if that was going to be the next consensus there. But man, is it making you start to think, what the hell should we do next inside of that particular regards? And I am not going to be one of those people who go, well, drive electric. I mean, because what is that going to accomplish at this particular moment? Because a lot of them are on back order anyways. So anyways, just some stuff to think about. Anyways, let's talk about this. Take a listen to this. Let's talk about some of that world weird stuff of Florida. You know how it goes. Florida hospital updates visitation policy amid COVID spike. In Miami, Florida, a COVID uptick is prompting Florida hospitals chains to crack down on visitors. Natalie Rodriguez has more information.
With another spike in COVID cases, Jackson Health System is making changes to its visitation policy effective immediately. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava.
Our positivity rate in Miami-Dade County is now over 10%.
In fact, it's 17%. Changes at Jackson include no visitors allowed for adult patients. Adult inpatients are allowed to have one healthy visitor from 9 a.m. to noon and from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Overnight visitors are not allowed. Labor and delivery patients are allowed one healthy visitor at all times, including overnight. No telling yet if other hospitals will follow suit. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Okay, so what do you think about that when that seems to be putting a change in some things? And keep in mind that, when it comes to the state of Florida, they're pretty red and a pretty red ran, if you know what I'm saying when I say that. So it'll be interesting to see what continues to go on. As we are talking about the glorious state of Florida, let's talk about this. Busy week for Florida's Space Coast.
And liftoff.
Another batch of SpaceX internet satellites has been sent off into orbit off of the Kennedy Space Center.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Launch Complex 39A, carrying our 53 Starlink satellites into space.
Tomorrow night, the United Launch Alliance will send the Atlas V rocket up from Cape Canaveral, and it will be the company's second attempt to reach the International Space Station without a crew on board. So there you go. So if it's sending it up without a crew, what the hell's on the thing? There's some questions there. I'm sure that people will be asking, what the hell is going on? So do we want to talk about this? Let's talk about this one real quick. Chinese plane crash that killed 132 people may have been intentional. A Chinese plane crash that killed 132 people may have been intentional nosedive, according to Mark Mayfield. Take a listen.
The China Eastern Airlines flight crashed into a mountain in southern China back in March, killing 123 passengers and 9 crew members. A report in the Wall Street Journal says a probe into the crash indicates that someone in the cockpit had put the Boeing 737 into a near vertical nosedive. Officials say black boxes recovered from the wreckage show that the plane's controls were used to pitch the aircraft into a dive. Records show that the plane was cruising at 29,000 feet before it suddenly plummeted into the side of a mountain. I'm Mark Mayfield.
That's terrible news. I mean, I don't even know what the hell to say to that one. Let's continue on. Anyways, Utah lawmakers consider piping water from ocean into the Great Salt Lake. Take a listen to this one. Utah lawmakers are considering several ideas to help the shrinking Great Lake of the Great Salt Lake, better saying, including one that would create a pipeline to bring seawater to a lake.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and this is all options are on the table.
State Representative Joel Ferry, a Republican, is the co-chair of the legislative committee that decided yesterday to study the idea of building a pipeline that would stretch from Utah to the Pacific Ocean. Building the pipeline through California, Nevada, and Utah would come with tremendous regulatory hurdles and could cost billions of dollars. Critics of the idea say that the state should focus on water conservation measures rather than expensive pipe dreams. You get it? Pipe dreams, you know the pun there. Anyways, Ferry dismissed the criticisms that states that legislators are pursuing a pipe dream rather than taking solid steps towards preserving the Great Salt Lake.
We've instituted and put in place significant conservation measures, but it's not going to be enough. And so we need to look for all these other options. And one of those options is importing water from the Pacific Ocean.
So there you go. A lot of stuff to talk about as we are hanging out here. Anyways, it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, so you know that we are right around that time to do that thing that we need to be doing right now. And what is it? Well, that's a great thing.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
No, not a great thing of what we're going to be doing. It's a great thing of what we need to do because I'm just kind of totally lost in regards to what is the level of time that we have when it comes to certain aspects of what we are doing. Anyway, so if you are hanging out this morning and you are just dropping by because you are dropping by, well, that's good. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out and hanging out. Also, the other side that you probably realize right away, depending if you're on the podcast network or if you are on the streamer, that we are calling this Believing in the System. And boy, as I can tell from what people are saying in the messaging services, um, it's not probably what you think. So let me make sure that I'm clear on what I'm about to state here. So as we start talking about believing in systems, there's so many different things that probably come to mind. And you can take it from different levels, different standpoints, different aspects. And what do I mean when I say this? Well, it's one of those easy ones in regards to talking about it. Because sometimes when we start doing our gig here, we start talking about systems, and let's talk about safety. So we have these belief systems of things that we're willing to do. So I believe that safety system 2 is the best. Some people say they believe that safety system 1 is the best, and so on and so on and so on. But think about this. Think about how far your beliefs will take you and stuff. And what do I mean by this? Well, there's so many things that we can cover. We can cover on using the example that if you are a citizen of X country, whatever country you want to put, use that as an example. Some people would be willing to risk their lives for the belief system of what their country has. Does that make sense? Some people believe in certain parties of politics that they would be willing to risk their lives for what that party stands for. Some people believe in certain things that they would be willing to do tons of things because of what they believe that their party, location, system, whatever that belief is on what it's willing to do. Think about it from this particular standpoint. Knowingly or unknowingly, when you go into a multi-story building, when you start going into those higher floors, you, to some extent, are saying, I believe in the people that were the architects, the construction workers, and so on, that this building is going to stand here as I go up this damn thing in regards of what's going on. And you're willing to put your life on the line by doing that. And you could probably go, hold on, maybe you're overcomplicating this whole thing on what you're saying. No. But that's how our belief systems work. Think about it. We're willing to do a lot of things that we would be willing to sacrifice and willing to do other things that, hey, it's for the thrill of the moment. Perfect example is like a roller coaster. Some people will go on a thrill ride, and nothing wrong against thrill rides, but you're willing to sacrifice your life for a thrill. Because if you were to get ejected, if something was to go wrong, well, probably it's not going to go too well. But maybe that's the extreme circumstance or the extreme version of what I'm trying to say here. But what I'm trying to get to is, why is it that when you believe in something, you are so strong-willed and determined that that is the correct portion? Think about it. Day in and day out, as you do the work that you do, you believe that either your system of safety that you have inside of your organization is great or it needs to be better. Also, on the other hand, you might have people inside of your organization that tell you it needs to be better or it needs to be worse. And when I say worse, let's kind of be careful on what I mean by that. Not be worse, not be probably to the extent of what you're looking for. And it's amazing to me on what people are willing to argue, what people are willing to do. Some people have left jobs because they didn't believe in what their systems were doing. People did not believe that the way that they were treated was correct and they were willing to leave. And that's the fun portion. That's the interesting portion. How strong is your belief system in what you're doing day in and day out that you would be willing to sacrifice X? Think about it. There has been wars that have been started because of belief systems. There has been arguments. There has been divorces. There has been loss of friends. There has been, you name it, it has probably happened one way, shape, or form. And it's all because of belief system. And it gets interesting because what is there to believe in? Because when you take a good look, especially when it comes to safety systems, it's not something that someone can touch. It's not something that someone can feel. And we are kind of saying, hey, this is how this is going to work if we would plan boom, 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 boom in place. But how do you make it work? You are, I'm not going to say selling, but it is almost like a faith system that you're giving people. This is what I'm noticing as of late in particular is the level of safety that people are talking about that are now attempting to turn it into a, we'll say, a religious belief or to Bible teachings in regards of what's going on. So it becomes very interesting on how the look goes. So what do you believe in? What are you willing to step and stand up for in regards of systems? What are you willing to say, yes, I believe in X system, and that's what I'm willing to do? Think about it. Because even though you might not verbalize it in that same format, there are things that you believe in that you're willing to, quote unquote, sacrifice because you believe in that system. Think about it. Probably one of the most common things that would probably come across is people discontinuing relationships. There's a lot there. And believe me, I think I could probably go on for the rest of the show just talking about it in regard to belief systems. It's funny on when you believe that you have earned better or deserve better, what you're willing to do. It's kind of an interesting tie if you really start giving some thought to it. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Okay, there you go. That's Half of My Heart by Beautiful Minds. Currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging and banging here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep, Half of My Heart. Oh, you know how it goes around here. Music Central, if we allow it to be. Anyways, the song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Give it a download. Give it a stream. Want to thank Beautiful Minds for allowing us to play this here this morning on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep. You know, I just seem to go so much longer when it comes to this music like that. Some fun stuff going on. Anyways, let's get moving and grooving and start talking about what is going on inside of this little world of ours. Because it's always important as we get to hang out and talk about all these things and share some information. Anyways, before we get too far away, you know what it is. It's time to talk about the most important thing that you'll ever hear me talk about. That's for sure. And that's about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose life has been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. Seriously, I tell you this because it's such an important subject. Listen, and I know we talk about this, and I know that I talk about it daily and I reference it and I come about and say, hey, listen, we need to talk about this. There is reasons on why I say all this stuff. There are reasons on why I bring this up. There are reasons because I think it is such an important topic of conversation that it should never go away. And I will tell you, there's people that are there's different brands that are out there that do similar work And if you look at it, the phone numbers are all pretty similar. They all reference this crisis hotline. So I reference this because I think it's so important, and not that I am brand specific. I just want to make sure, because we talk. I know I've been hung up on this one for quite some time. There's been some other ones that we've spoken about in the past as well. I just think that this one, because I'm here in the States, I guess that's one of the ones that I reference. I should reference more of our bigger market, because we have people from different areas that take a listen as well. But I think it's an important subject that always talk about. You can always find out more information and learn how to help and learn the facts of what exactly is going on there. Anyways, 47 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get into some more news before we get you out of here. So let's start talking right away. How often do you tell a lie? And a recent study showed that 60% of people admitting about lying after just a single 10-minute conversation. So maybe the better question is, how can you tell when someone else is lying? After a ton of research, Albert Vergerer, a professor of applied social psychology at the University of Portsmouth, says that he knows a simple trick to indicate when someone isn't telling you the truth. What you want to do is to find out, to increase the cognitive load, is that maintaining a lie becomes more difficult. What does that mean? Simply get a person whose honesty is a question to focus part of their attention on another concept or task, while the question them on whatever you think they might be lying about. It turns out that a mental distraction can trip up the most earnest liar, and there is such a thing, or at least the professor says, truths and lies can sound equally plausible, as long as the lie tellers are given a good opportunity to think about what to say. So that's not fair. I can't even tell the truth when I'm trying to do something else. So there you go. So it'll be kind of hard for that one. And they say honesty is the best policy, but if you don't have an ability to lie when needed, you are a liability. Huh? What do you think? What do you think about that? Some stuff to think about for sure. Anyways, TV and chill. When people say that they plan to relax, it turns out that they simply code word for watch TV. According to a new poll, most people use television as their number one chill out method. Ahead of others might stem more obvious, such as walk, meditation, or taking a bubble bath. Really? Taking a bubble bath is chilling? The most recent poll of 2,000 people concluded that 55% of American adults use comfort television and movies to self-soothe and distract themselves from anxiety or stress. But it turns out that that's such a bad idea, according to Dr. Natalie King, a brain health expert of neuroscientists who worked on the report, said watching your favorite TV series can encourage the release of dopamine, which creates a sense of euphoria. Dopamine essentially says to your brain, you are enjoying it, keep it up, hence binge watching. The great thing about chilling in front of the TV is that you can also take part of another awesome method of relaxation known as wine. So there you go. I don't know. I mean, what about a self-deprivation tank? A sensory isolation tank at the same time. Do you know what I'm talking about when I mentioned that? And I guess I'll try to explain it just real quick, because I did mention it. It is these tanks that have about, what is it? They have water in them, and it has about 800 pounds of Emporium salt inside of it. And it's a flotation tank. You kind of float inside of the thing. And it has a lid. You close the lid, and if you have your eyes open or closed, you can't tell the difference because it's so dark, and there is no sound. And you just kind of float. And I think that would probably be a better way to meditate if you're into that kind of stuff. But you have to really be into that kind of stuff. And if you are afraid of confined spaces, this is probably not the greatest idea of things to do. As we are talking about it, seriously, just something to think about for sure.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Ian. Franklin Roosevelt said, "To reach a port, we must sail. Sail, not tie at anchor. Sail, not drift." I like this quote. I remember something else that's kind of related. St. Thomas Aquinas said, "If the highest aim of a captain were to preserve his ship, he would keep it in port forever." Now, both quotes show you the importance of sailing. Okay, these are examples of sailing, but the real importance is action. Get out there and do something. Don't just play it safe and stay in the harbor. Now, I'm not a sailor, but these quotes, they're pretty inspiring. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. Ability to control your stress in real time is extremely powerful. It turns out you can do this using physiology and neuroscience. Your breathing can directly impact your heart rate and your stress level. When you inhale, your diaphragm moves down and your heart gets a little bigger. As a consequence, the brain receives a signal to speed up your heart rate. Therefore, inhaling increases your heart rate. The opposite is also true. As you exhale, your diaphragm moves up, the heart gets a bit smaller, and the brain gets a signal to slow down the heart rate. So inhaling speeds your heart rate up, exhaling slows it down. And if you're looking to become more alert, it is recommended to take vigorous, more intense inhales. If you're looking to calm down, take bigger exhales or make them more vigorous. That is something you can do in real time to impact your physiology. For more, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do real quick. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to Radio Big.FM. And we're going to be doing some music. We'll be doing some stuff over there. So if you want to come and hang out, you're more than welcome to doing so. You got two opportunities on doing it. You can either go to radiobig.fm or the other side of the equation is kind of a simple process. All you have to do is do the following. Go to tunein.com. That's tunein.com. Just look for Radio Big. And that will get you moving and grooving as we are doing. The other side of the house that you can always hang out is right here on Safety FM, where we will be playing more and more stuff related to the world of safety from that particular standpoint. Like I always like to tell people, we give you different variations of things when it comes to the world of safety, when it comes to Safety FM. The reason behind it is because we know that not everyone has the same belief system when it comes to the things that are related to safety. Think about it in that particular fashion. So let's continue going and moving and grooving. You know, I always feel like on Wednesdays in particular, I feel like I'm ripping you off if I don't talk about Did You Know and Whack Facts. So let's get into this. Let's talk about Did You Know real quick. Researchers have linked spending more time playing video games with a boost in intelligence in children, which goes a long way in contradicting the narrative that gaming is bad for young minds. In a study of almost 5,000 9 and 10-year-olds, researchers in Sweden and Amsterdam found that the kids who spend more time than norm playing video games saw an increase of 2.5 IQ points above the average raise in that same time frame. Watching TV and using social media didn't seem to have a positive effect or negative effect on intelligence, except for those who follow the Kardashians and who became drastically dumber. So there you go. That's what's going on with that one. What else do we have? Let's see. I have to give you some whack facts for today as well. So whack facts real quick. Couple who spend less than $1,000 on their wedding are at least likely to divorce. People who regularly use computer type People who regularly use computer type between 5,000 and 10,000 keystrokes per day. Growing a beard has health benefits such as preventing allergies, asthma attacks, and rashes, and protecting your skin from the sun. So there you go. I wonder if women know that too. It would take 225 billion years to walk a light year. Rats can live longer without water than camels can. And the can opener was invented 48 years after the can. So how the hell did they open the cans? Maybe that's the question to ponder there. So there you go. What else do we have going on real quick? Let's get into it. Just real quick, things that happened back on this day. Back on this day, if we are looking at the year, let's see. Let's take a look at the year 1980. A giant earthquake triggers an eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state. The volcano had been dormant for more than 100 years. A series of smaller earthquakes had caused the smaller, shorter emissions, but it had come clear that the gases in the magma were building inside of the north face. After the initial rupture, the pressurized magma blasted rock debris, gases, and molten rock at the speed of 670 miles per hour. Some reports suggested that the flying boulders broke the sound barrier. The blast lasted a little over 30 seconds, but destroyed 230 square miles. 57 people died, 200 houses, 27 bridges, 17 miles of railroad, and 185 highways were destroyed. The cleanup cost was over $3 billion. That happened back in 1980 on this day. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's do those real quick. Spencer Breslin turns 30. Vince Young turns 39. Marcus Giles turns 44. Jack Johnson, 47. Tina Fey turns 52. George Strait, 70. Brooks Robinson, 85. And Priscilla Pointer turns 98 today. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day. National No Dirty Dishes Day. National Visit Your Relatives Day. Oh my. International Museum Day. Notebook Day. And Hot Wheels Day. So there you go. Those are some days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. There you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. Pollen is what happens when flowers can't keep it in their plants. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. If you could book any musical act, past or present, to play your next backyard barbecue, who would it be? There you go. That's a good selection. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. It takes the average person 8 seconds to do this. What is it? Answer the phone. Answer the damn phone. Anyways, this has been the Rated R Safety Show. Thank you for coming out, hanging out, and taking a listen to what the hell we have going on this morning. I really do appreciate the time as you and I get to hang out together. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Praise loudly and blame softly. Something to think about. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big. And that is the listener, because we cannot do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.